In love, we often dream of closeness, but for an avoidant, every step forward feels like holding onto the same old hand. Every confession of affection becomes another wall rising between you. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and wondered, why does trying harder only push us further apart? They seem magnetic, captivating, even warm as sunlight. Yet the moment you lean in, they unexpectedly retreat, their eyes reflecting an invisible fear. Your heart clenches as if stretched on an unseen wire between the longing for connection and the dread of being engulfed. Here's the paradox. Our society praises openness, deep connection, and transparent communication, but seldom addresses the shadow side of commitment, where some hearts quake under the weight of love. It's not that they are callously distant, they simply fear losing themselves. In a world bound by screens, where one click can spark a new relationship, building genuine trust has become a silent psychological battle. Imagine offering your warmth, your authentic sharing, only to be met with silence and distance. Each unreturned text, each abruptly canceled date, cuts silently into your soul. You try to reassure them of their importance. You know how much you mean to me, but it only tightens their grip on fear, triggering their instinct to withdraw. So, how do we transform this pain into a foothold? What is the code to flip the script from passively chasing to compelling them to hold on to you? In the next 5 seconds, I will unveil the unexpected psychological switches, not manipulative games of feigned aloofness, nor flashy grand gestures, but science-backed principles that dismantle the avoidant wall and naturally ignite their desire to commit in a sustainable way. If you are ready to end the exhausting chase and spark a love that endures, keep reading. This isn't just dating advice, it's a journey back to your self-worth and the gateway for someone once hesitant to finally say, I choose to stay. 1. Emotional independence. Imagine yourself as a steadfast mountain under a vast sky, unbowed by passing winds yet warm enough to shelter anyone seeking your shade. This is the image of emotional independence, the first and most powerful psychological switch that can shatter an avoidant's defensive walls. In countless relationships, we often fall into the trap of overdependence or needing each other too much, which results in not only love but also insecurity, suffocating our partner. In contrast, when you exude self-reliance, appearing as a complete individual with your own passions, goals, and joys, you not only convey safety but ignite in them a desire to explore and approach you without fear of being overwhelmed. Instead of shouting, "Please love me," you express a subtler message, "I am fine, I am happy, and I choose you because you are special." Mikulincer and Shaver's research, 2007, indicates that individuals who display confident self-sufficiency without excessive reliance on their partner tend to foster deeper trust and sustain longer commitments. When you pursue a personal passion, be it painting, rock climbing, travel blogging, or even researching a compelling scientific topic, you are constructing a rich inner world. This space not only provides you with mental sanctuary, but also offers your partner a universe intriguing enough for them to enter and discover what unfolds in your realm. This self-reliant stance alleviates their sense of emotional burden, reducing their fear that love equals a heavy load. They recognize that beside them stands a vibrant, complete person rather than a wilted leaf tossed by every breeze. Furthermore, research on the anxious avoidant trap shows that couples in which one partner exhibits self-sufficiency without over-demanding have 40% fewer conflicts compared to typical couples, because when one person does not impulsively demand too much, the avoidant partner no longer feels emotionally attacked. In reality, many relationships break down simply because one side is needy while the other is fearful. Emotional independence is the lifeline that allows you to say, "I value you, but I can still shine even when you're not around." This is not arrogance, but proof of self-respect, a quality that deeply resonates with an avoidant, making them appreciate your worth. They understand being with you is a choice, not an obligation. And once they realize they are chosen, their avoidant heart begins to thaw, unfold, and finally commit not out of fear, but out of freedom. Having established yourself as a steadfast mountain of emotional independence, making the avoidant feel safe to approach the next step is to activate the second psychological switch, mystery and unpredictability. When you refrain from fully revealing every corner of your inner world, They can no longer neatly categorize you into a safe, predictable box. Instead, their curiosity and longing to explore are ignited. For avoidants, life often feels like a constant calculation. Is this closeness safe enough? Can I pull back in time? Mystery disrupts all those calculations. You don't need to hide or play excessive hide and seek. Simply withhold a bit of color from your portrait, a few untold stories, an unexpected hobby, or a personal habit that only someone truly close would know. It is precisely this unpredictability that drives them to chase you. When you occasionally go silent in messaging, it does not mean you've lost interest. When you spend time on your own pursuits, it is not you turning away. Rather, it signals a life rich and independent of anyone else. At such moments, every snippet they see, a weekend climbing clip, an impromptu travel tale, or a passion project in progress, will spark irrepressible curiosity. What fascinating thing are they up to now? According to Talkspace, dismissive avoidant individuals often display secretive behavior, limiting personal disclosures as a means of self-protection. When you mirror that weapon in a healthy, respectful way, you are speaking their communicative language, making them feel understood and more comfortable, gradually opening up. Kashdan's research on the role of curiosity in relationships finds that curiosity serves not only as a learning motivator but also as the glue binding hearts together. Couples who maintain mutual curiosity report higher satisfaction and fewer conflicts. They describe that when their partner holds on to small secrets, they feel invited on an enchanting journey of discovery. This phenomenon, called interpersonal curiosity, is a core driver of connection and safety. In practice, you can apply this principle by sharing in bite-sized ways. Recount a memorable moment but hold back the thrilling details so they must ask more. Introduce a new interest, but don't disclose the full process, prompting them to want to experience it with you. Or pose open-ended questions that encourage them to explore your world rather than passively receive information. Each such interaction not only grants them safe space to approach, but also nurtures an endless sense of excitement, because when answers are not immediate, our brains release dopamine, creating the thrill of discovery and unraveling mysteries. Crucially, while you skillfully retain a measure of mystery, you maintain trust and consistency. Mystery is not total closure, but a delicate balance between revealing and withholding. You never let them doubt your honesty. Rather, you provide a safe exploratory playground for the relationship, where both can joyfully participate in the game of discovery. This is how you create distance close enough for love, far enough for breath, what avoidants crave, yet seldom find. When your counterpart realizes they cannot entirely predict you, they lose the false security of mastering the relationship and instead become curious, eager to explore, and gradually dismantle the defensive walls within. Mystery and unpredictability, when employed thoughtfully and authentically, become the keys that unlock their heart, guiding them from readiness to retreat toward the desire to move forward, from fear of commitment to the yearning for connection. Once you have ignited their endless curiosity and turned your relationship into an enchanting journey of discovery, it's time to flip the third psychological switch: calm confidence in conflict. Like a helmsman who steadies the ship amidst raging waves, you neither shout nor plead, but maintain your breath, gaze, and tone with unwavering steadiness. This creates an emotional safe zone that avoidants crave, yet seldom find. In reality, whenever a disagreement arises, even over something as trivial as choosing a restaurant or differing life views, an avoidant almost immediately goes on high alert. They fear an onslaught of flooding emotions, yelling, accusations, tears, and desperate pleas. When that happens, their instinct is to withdraw, close off their heart, and think, this relationship is too dangerous. Conversely, if you preserve your composure, resisting the urge to lower your dignity by yelling or begging them to stay, you send a powerful message. Even amid conflict, I am strong enough to stand. You are safe with me. John Gottman and colleagues emphasize the critical role of maintaining emotional safety during conflict. When one partner avoids becoming flooded, dialogue can lead to solutions rather than battles, and the avoidant feels secure enough to engage more deeply. They note that in anxious avoidant pairings, the key to breaking the chase and withdraw cycle is one partner's composure, which allows the other to tentatively share without fear of a volatile reaction. To cultivate this, you can adopt the following steps. Keep your breathing slow and steady as you sense pressure rising. Use I statements instead of you accusations. I feel, rather than you always. Maintain a low, steady tone, even when your heart is racing. Embrace strategic silence instead of filling it with potentially hurtful words. Positive silence can help both cool down. As you practice these techniques, you'll notice a dramatic shift. They no longer recoil when you frown or raise your voice. Instead, they wonder, why is she divided by he so calm? That sense of safety will gradually encourage them to open up. Bit by bit, the cold stone walls they've built around their heart will crack. Broadly speaking, calmness in conflict not only reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, but also triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone, when two people resolve issues with respect and understanding. This forms the basis for replacing the step on the gas reflex with the ease off the throttle reflex. Every time you don't shout, they relax a little more. Every time you refrain from pleading, they dare take another step closer. For an avoidant, commitment often doesn't hinge on the words, I want to commit, but on the experience, I can be safe with this person even when things aren't perfect. When your calm confidence becomes habitual, conflict ceases to be a barrier and instead becomes an opportunity to build trust, helping them realize that, through stormy seas, love with you is a steadfast harbor, not a fierce tempest. After you have proven your ability to remain calm and confident in every conflict, creating an emotional safe zone where the avoidant can gradually feel comfortable speaking up, it's time to activate the fourth switch: clear boundaries. Establishing and maintaining boundaries is not a way to push someone away. On the contrary, it is the very method by which they perceive the value and respect you have for yourself, qualities that earn their respect and desire to bond with you even more. In a relationship, when both partners clearly understand what is acceptable and what is off limits, trust is built more solidly than any promise. Clear boundaries manifest through simple yet firm statements. You might say, "No, I can't have dinner tonight because I need time for myself. I don't accept being spoken to with baseless blame," or "I can't continue this conversation unless we respect each other." Each no, delivered in a calm, respectful, and unwavering manner, serves as a reminder to the avoidant, this is my space, where I respect you and also expect to be respected. When you uphold your boundaries, the avoidant begins to realize two crucial truths. First, they cannot easily manipulate or cross your limits as they once did. Second, choosing to stay with you means they must learn to respect your personal space and needs. This process makes them feel more responsible in the relationship because every action they take now must be measured against the boundaries you've set. In reality, many avoidants only commit when they sense a balance between freedom and constraint. If constraints feel too strict, they pull away. If freedom seems infinite, they lose the sense of meaning. Clear boundaries create the optimal balance. You are free to live in line with your values, and they are free to choose commitment within a safely established framework. This clarity evokes in them a feeling of invitation rather than compulsion. To build effective boundaries, you can follow 3 steps. 1. Clearly identify what you will and will not accept in the relationship. 2. Communicate those boundaries directly, without beating around the bush. 3. Consistently enforce them even when the other person tests them. Consistency in upholding boundaries preserves your dignity and helps the avoidant realize they cannot afford to lose you, because losing you means losing someone who respects them. Ultimately, clear boundaries are not walls of indifference, but protective frameworks for both partners. Within that framework, you are allowed to live authentically, and they are invited to approach without fear of overstepping. When the avoidant recognizes this, they not only respect your boundaries, but also begin to proactively establish boundaries of their own, a sign that they are ready to truly commit, understanding that love is not unconditional binding, but mutual respect and growth within an agreed-upon structure. After you have drawn clear boundaries and shown the avoidant a space of respect and safety, the next switch is number 5, maintaining steadiness when they withdraw. When an avoidant senses closeness beyond their comfort zone, they instinctively pull back to test your reaction. At that moment, do not rush in to plead or drag them back at any cost. Instead, continue living your own life with warmth and care, yet without overwhelming them. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse on an empty shore. Despite the raging seas, it shines steadily and never changes position. When they step away, you keep your light intact, genuine affection, gentle concern through brief morning greetings or short check-in messages, but no interrogations or demands. You might spend time pursuing hobbies, meeting friends, or simply reading a favorite book. This both demonstrates that you are not dependent on their presence and shows them they cannot simply unplug your connection. This unhurried approach creates reverse tension. Instead of feeling comfortable withdrawing, they become curious whether you are truly okay or whether they are missing something important. Research on the test of distance mechanism shows that when someone notices their partner is not overly pursuing them during withdrawal, they often return with a stronger commitment, driven by the instinct to restore the lost closeness and affirm the attraction. This is not a rigid game, but a calm, confident stance. You maintain warmth with safe messages. Have a great day, hope you're well, yet you don't flood their inbox. As you cultivate your own life and appear steadfast, they recognize the value of your bond. They cannot easily erase you from their world. And when they realize that pulling away does not cause you distress or panic, they will gradually drop their defenses. The avoidant heart will naturally spark a desire to draw closer, to experience a safe connection. Therefore, maintaining equanimity in the moments they withdraw is the key to opening the door for them to choose to return. After you have skillfully maintained steadiness when they withdrew, demonstrating independence without coldness, the avoidant will begin to recognize the value of a safe connection with you. Next, step into the sixth switch, intellectual stimulation. While many relationships immerse themselves purely in emotion, avoidants often find initial safety in the realm of the mind, a space where they need not immediately expose their vulnerabilities. When you engage them in deep exchanges and challenge each other's thinking, the bond becomes built on understanding rather than fleeting feelings. First, treat intellect as a bridge. Share an intriguing article on modern philosophy. Discuss AI's impact on society, or talk about the psychology research you've just read. This accomplishes two things at once, making them comfortable since they need not rush to share private feelings, and igniting excitement by engaging in a thoughtful dialogue. Feeling valued intellectually convinces them that the relationship is not an emotional sprint but a journey of mutual learning and discovery. According to Arthur Aaron and Elaine Aron's self-expansion model, individuals are motivated to seek new experiences to broaden their knowledge, skills, and personal identity. When you invite them to accompany you on intellectually stimulating experiences like visiting an art exhibition, attending a science seminar, or simply engaging in a conceptual discussion, you create opportunities for both of you to grow. For avoidance, this signals, if I can build emotional connection gradually through the mind, love isn't threatening. Next, leverage open-ended questions to spark critical thinking. How do you think technology can reshape our understanding of happiness? Or do you believe timeless values like honor and loyalty still hold weight in today's world? Such questions not only draw them into the thought process, but also encourage them to share their personal perspectives, slowly revealing their inner worlds without feeling invaded. Each new discovery they make with you further cements your bond. Throughout this process, you act as an intellectual ally, both challenging them and offering support and encouragement when needed. This builds trust. They understand you're not demanding immediate disclosure of deep emotions, but rather respecting their personal pace. As a result, mental safety paves the way for emotions to blossom naturally, without force. When the avoidant realizes the relationship provides intellectual stimulation without emotional threat, they become more comfortable moving closer and gradually sharing more. From here, we are ready to flip the seventh switch, self-respect and selective availability, continuing the journey of transforming attraction into deep commitment. Building on the foundation of intellectual connection and steadfast trust we have established, we now flip the seventh switch, self-respect and prioritizing yourself. When you honor your own emotions and needs, you send a clear message: I know my worth and will not settle for less. For an avoidant, this is a powerful attraction because they fear that once they enter a relationship, they will become the sole focus and easily overwhelm you. However, when you demonstrate that you place yourself at the top of your own priority list, not through selfishness or indifference, but by caring for your personal needs, nurturing your interests, and staying committed to your own goals. You prove yourself to be a complete individual, not dependent on anyone else for validation. Imagine planning your weekend. Instead of just waiting for them, you organize a picnic with old friends or spend time practicing your favorite yoga routine. When they know you are not always on call, they realize that to have you, they must be proactive and value your time. This is entirely different from freezing the relationship. You remain warm and attentive, but you never lose sight of yourself. The aspect of prioritizing yourself also shows when you listen to your body and emotions. When you are tired, you rest. When you need space, you give it to yourself. This behavior not only keeps you energized, but also sets a standard in the relationship. Everyone deserves to be cared for. An avoidant, noticing that you stop painful conversations at the right moment or refuse to endure unnecessary strain, will appreciate your wisdom and choose to commit only when they are truly ready. More importantly, self-respect and self-prioritization prevent you from falling into the blind chase pattern, a factor that drives an avoidant to withdraw even further. When you are overly eager, they feel pressured, but when you maintain a balance between care and independence, they gradually develop the desire to come closer, because winning your heart is no longer a guarantee. They will proactively reach out, invite you to join, and show commitment, knowing you have many options and only dedicate time to those who are deserving. When an avoidant experiences the feeling, "I want to earn this person's affection," instead of, "I have to chase someone who needs me," a real breakthrough occurs. They stop retreating and begin to view the relationship as an equal partnership where both respect each other's worth. That is the power of self-respect and prioritizing yourself, the switch that transforms them from passive withdrawal into active, lasting commitment. Once you have asserted your value through the switch of self-respect and prioritizing yourself, inviting the avoidant rather than binding them, it's time to flip the eighth switch: emotional vulnerability without pressure. This isn't about bursting into tears or begging for love, but about sharing your feelings clearly and honestly while ensuring your partner never feels responsible for saving you. Imagine saying, "I felt down today after hearing bad news, but I'm okay and just wanted to share so you know where I'm at." That statement shows your strength in handling negative emotions and reminds them that your feelings are yours, not their burden. As Brené Brown says, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Yet for avoidance, emotional expression must always come with choice, so they don't feel compelled to respond immediately. J.A. Simpson's 2017 research demonstrates that when one partner practices controlled self-disclosure, intimacy and trust in the relationship increase significantly. But if taken too far, it triggers withdrawal in an avoidant. The key is the golden ratio. You share enough to maintain warmth and authenticity, but not so much that it makes them anxious or overwhelmed. Practice this by using I statements. I feel, I want you to know, always ending with an affirmation such as, "I'll be fine," or "I don't need you to fix this." This conveys two messages. You respect yourself, and you respect their emotional space. Each time you share in this way, you invite them into a safe zone of sincerity where they can listen without fear of losing their personal freedom. Sometimes, a brief end-of-day message like, "I was a bit bored today, but I finished that favorite book of mine, and I'm excited to tell you about it," is enough to spark warmth and encourage them to talk without pressure. This flexibility gradually dissolves the emotional danger wall in their mind. When an avoidant realizes you can share emotions naturally without needing them to rescue you, they become more comfortable reciprocating, risking a bit of their own emotional reveal. That is a crucial shift from fearing the darkness to being ready to shine alongside you. Next, we'll explore the ninth switch, playfulness and lightness, to continue winning the avoidant heart with joy and laughter. Once you have skillfully shared your emotions without pressure and established a secure bond, it's time to flip the ninth switch, playfulness and lightness. Avoidants often carry underlying anxiety about attachment. They fear that love means burdens and expectations, but when you introduce a gentle spirit, a smile, and laughter, you shatter the belief that love must be heavy. Consider playfulness as the catalyst that cools tension. A lighthearted joke, A spontaneous tease or a funny anecdote to end the evening will erase barriers between souls. For instance, you might challenge them to a quick quiz game, send a clever meme, or recount a comically awkward moment from your day. These moments not only release dopamine, the happiness hormone, but also show them that love doesn't always have to be serious. Lightheartedness doesn't mean avoiding all issues. It means choosing to lead with a smile before diving into serious discussion. When debating a small disagreement, you could toss in a playful jab, "You must be winning if you're that grumpy," or a witty line like, "If you form a judgment council, I'll run for president." Humor both diffuses stress and draws them closer without triggering their defenses. In fact, research on interpersonal humor finds that couples who share laughter report twice the satisfaction and connection compared to those who engage solely in serious dialogue. Laughter acts like a soul adhesive, swiftly lowering defenses and making an avoidant feel that love can be fun, rather than love is a burden. Importantly, you must keep your playfulness authentic. Don't force humor according to a script. Let lightness arise from genuine moments and stories, always respecting the other person's boundaries. When they see you being naturally joyful, they will dare to lower their guard and laugh along. Ultimately, playfulness and lightness are not just moments of entertainment, but proof that love can be easy, buoyant, and filled with laughter. When an avoidant experiences joy with you, they will gradually believe that connection is not a trap, but a journey brimming with joy and happiness. After winning them over with laughter, joy, and the delight of playful connection, we arrive at the final switch, the ability to walk away with dignity. This is the most powerful turning point, where you show an avoidant that love is not a trap, but a two-way dance founded on mutual respect. When they realize you can let go of a mismatched relationship, they understand that to keep you, they must truly make an effort. Losing you would mean losing someone who honors herself. Picture the scene. After a series of trials, when they hesitated, you stayed calm. When you set boundaries, they learned to respect you. When you sparked intellectual curiosity, they explored with you. And when you brought lighthearted fun, they laughed at your side. Yet if they still choose to withdraw, you let go, no shouting, no pleading, simply saying, "I cherish what we have, but I respect myself enough to know when to move on." The way you walk away with dignity is the final proof of your self-respect, showing them you aren't bound by fear of loss. When your partner sees you depart with poise, they confront a new sensation, fear of losing you. This is not a manipulative threat, but a mirror reflecting your own investment. Suddenly, they realize that love isn't guaranteed. If they want you to stay, they must actively show commitment rather than waiting for you to beg. Studies on the fear of loss mechanism demonstrate that when people recognize something valuable is slipping away, they're more motivated to fight to preserve it. Walking away with dignity doesn't mean shutting the door forever. You might close the conversation with a kind farewell, leave a gentle message, or simply send a final like. These small gestures embody nobility. You give them the chance to rethink, but you don't let yourself be the only option. And if they return, you welcome them as equals, without resentment, because you know they've truly tried. For an avoidant, this is the ultimate lever. When they realize you're not afraid to let go, they understand that the best bond isn't forged by chains, but by the voluntary choice to remain with someone they truly value. That's when an avoidant heart no longer recoils but expands, ready to commit in freedom rather than fear. Having sequentially flipped the 10 psychological switches from emotional independence, mystery, calm confidence in conflict, clear boundaries, steadfastness during withdrawal, intellectual stimulation, self-respect and prioritizing yourself, flexible emotional sharing, playfulness and lightness, to the ability to walk away with dignity, you have constructed a robust framework that transforms an avoidant's perception of connection from a trap into freedom. The most crucial element isn't to execute each tactic mechanically, but to cultivate your own self, becoming the most confident, whole, and admirable version of yourself. In doing so, you don't just attract them, you sustain your own inner strength and self-worth. Each switch sends the message. Love is not about bindings, but a voluntary choice. When an avoidant realizes they are invited rather than forced, they gain the courage to enter into genuine commitment. Successfully dismantling an avoidant's defensive walls is a journey of mutual understanding, knowing yourself, and respecting their pace. It's the balance between giving and receiving, advancing and retreating, where both feel safe to open up. Now, you can flexibly apply these switches in every interaction, from texts and calls to face-to-face meetings. Be patient and consistent, as transforming an avoidance heart often takes time. And when they take the initiative to step closer, you will see that the walls have dissolved, replaced by a relationship founded on freedom, respect, and lasting commitment. Start today. Choose the one switch most relevant to your situation. Observe their response, adjust, and keep moving forward. Each small step opens a great opportunity, the chance for you and them to write the most trustworthy and liberating love story you both desire.